the better it makes it. Just starting off, you don't even have to have the Zunimasa, but eventually when you do get the Zunimasa, which is fairly easy to get, you know, you can instantly start training this build and start try to go for greater rift attempts of like maybe level 34, maybe even 25. I was quite surprised that once I actually combined it with the Zunimasa, and I was able to identify what did I need in the build and what I didn't need in the build, it actually started working really well, and I was quite surprised for the GrinReaper build that it actually could just do so well. So, like I said, just casting a Horrify there. Now, if you notice, I'm not really casting too much Zombie Charger. Sometimes I might cast it on an Elite or something like that. If you want to cast it more often, by all means, I recommend and stuff like that. I'm just more concerned with timing off my Horrifies and my crowd control effects because I just don't want to deal with the enemy's silliness. So I'm always watching, okay, gotta watch for Reflect, stop attacking, you know, maybe Spirit Walk up, grab some, you know, health globes, you know, okay, Piranha's Paranato's up, make sure that's up. So it's not the fact that, you know, it's like, I mean, I let it auto cast. There's sometimes I can cast it myself, but sometimes I just rather Reigns or Toads just to keep up the constant flow of fetishes. And then also just so I can be more aware of what's going on, because I mean, the build gets a lot better if you can time your CC along with your mimics whenever they cast it, you know, and then just basically get the full maximum use out of all your CC or crowd control abilities, basically. But this is looking pretty solid so far. Good mob density, not a bad mob rift or anything. No more lose. More lose will always make you go emo with any type of fetish build, but with the Enforcer gem, unless you're like on 34, for the most part, it keeps the main fetishes alive. So I cast the Piranhas and Paranato. It's not going to really CC these guys, but Horrify will. So I'm just playing it safe right now. I'm not doing anything too crazy. Hopefully the Mimics will cast a Horrify. I'll come in, Horrify group, and then just basically run out. Now if I wanted to spam Zombie Charger, I could use up some of my mana and stuff like that, because I mean, just because you know got it auto cast doesn't mean you cannot cast it yourself. I mean, that kind of helps out too. So like I said, I was just playing very safe on that one. We only lost one fetish, not bad at all. But like I always say, if you watch a lot of my other videos, I just try to play very consistently. I don't try to do any too like dramatical things. I like to always showcase builds that are kind of realistic, that can do consistent level greater rifts. What I don't like to do is just simply, you know, spam greater rift keys, maybe get a lucky rift and say, oh, I cleared this level. I don't believe a build can clear a certain level unless you can clear it 7 out of 10 times. So if you say you got a build rank 40, that means to me, I would say like, okay, well, is it just something that you just spam the rifts over and over again, or can you do it like 7 out of 10 times? Because if you can take like 10 level 40 greater rift shards, because that's what everybody seems to be focusing on, and clear it 7 out of 10 times, I would feel like, okay, well, the build's proven itself. But if you can only, you know, do that when you have Act 1 zombies and you can't consider what if you have Act 5 mobs and stuff like that, then I don't really even think the build is, you can say it's consistently going to do at that level. But I must admit, the greater rifts are a little bit RNG and there's not much you can do about it. But whenever I try to do a build, when people ask me, well, what's the highest level this clear with, I just tell them based upon the highest level I can get out of it consistently. Like for instance, I know I did like a Jade build, I can get 35 pretty consistently when I was doing it back. When I first did Jade, I need to actually return to that build. But even my pet build, it felt like, okay, 35 consistently. I noticed most pet builds can hit 35 consistently. And then, you know, 36, 37, I see some people do some nice risks at 36, 37. I've seen maybe 1 or 2 be able to do 38 pretty consistently. He has some pretty sick gear. You know, getting it 7 times out of 10. And the reason I say 7 times out of 10 is like a passing grade right in school, right? 70% or higher, otherwise you're failing. Well, technically a D's a passing, but we don't want to have D's on our report card. So whenever I see put out a build, it's pretty much, it's gonna be, you know, a pretty solid build so that you can consistently get to a certain level. And then if you want to take the build to the next level, that's kind of up to you. But I mean, for the most part, if a build can take you to greater rift 35, it probably can take you to 36 or 37 if the right things line up. 38 and 39 is not too bad, and 40 you just have to keep spamming until you get that miracle rift. If you guys watch my YouTube videos, if you want an example of like what's a good RNG in a greater rift, just check out the video called Miracle Rift. It's inside my YouTube listings. And I get a little crazy when I get it because I was like so shocked how well it was. But basically, a Miracle Rift is when you get Act 1 mobs, high mob density, you're able to spawn the Rift Guardian on the first level, and then on top of all that, you get an easy Rift Guardian, which everything happened. And plus, on top of that, which was nice, it was a conduit pylon and stuff like that. So I was pretty happy about that, and it was pretty awesome. And I have to say, I was. I mean, it was cool, but it was sad at the same point because it's like you just don't want to base your whole build as just basically spamming greater riff keys until you find certain said, you know, riff options or variables, because then it gets kind of boring, because then it's like, well, your build can't, I mean, because like, I think when a build really shows itself well, it's like, if you guys watched my Reno Flavor build in the last video, I did 35, and it was really consistent. Like, my 35s are getting real consistent to the point where it's 4 or 5 minutes, and I can start pushing towards 36, 37. But that's 35, 30, that's like, I mean, that's like, you know, consistency, even if I get bad mob density, even if I get, you know, really crazy Act 5 mobs. The CC of the Renho Flayer allowed for me to do the build and get to higher levels and do it more consistently. And I noticed with the GrinReaper 2 that actually started working out well once I included the Horrify, once I start focusing more with the Peronato and more CC effects and stuff like that, and once I actually start wrapping the build up and getting the right gems and the right items, I noticed that the GrinReaper build started to perform like pretty dang well. But like I said, most of the time, GrinReaper build is just, you know, an introductory level build, and it's just to get people to higher level and stuff like that, or get them farming and stuff in the game. Now, some people ask me, well, Debo, why don't you use a Star Metal Kukuri? But I said, you know what, if I'm going to make a guide to Carnival, realistically, most of Witch Doctor population just doesn't have one of the lowest dropping % item weapons in the game. Like, not only the chance of getting a Star Metal Kukuri is pretty low, it's like the chance when I think when the ceremonial knife drops, I'd like to say 5%, I think it's 2, but I think it's like 5% chance for it to be Star Metal Kukuri. So basically what that means is whenever you do get a ceremonial knife, when you click 20 of them, you basically have on the 20th ceremonial knife 50-50 chance it will be Star Metal Kukuri after you get 20, but we all know how RNG works. If it's 5%, yeah, I think I did the math right, or hopefully I did, or somebody needs to be like, no, Debo, you didn't do the math right. Let me correct you. But it has a real low drop chance. Now, I've gotten 2 because I'm lucky, and I think it's only because of streamer buff, and I do believe in that stuff, because sometimes I get silly drops. Like, I gotten 7 Tasker and Theos. It's not to brag, I've just been real lucky. But I just wanted to showcase the build not having to revolve around with SMK, so people can try this build out and be like, okay, I can get these items, these seem really obtainable, so people don't get too depressed, because I don't want every single guide of mine to be like SMK, SMK, SMK. Now, with that being said, if you actually ran if I ran an SMK, dropped the Zombie Dog Chargers, and just went for like a Star Metal Kukuri with this build can probably get up to 36, 37, no problem. But again, I don't want to do that because realistically, not everybody has the same stuff. Now, Blood Maul, he's an asshole, but this is a lower level Torment, so it's not too bad. As you see, the damage is pretty good. I'm just kind of dancing around him before he starts jumping and going emo. I got Horrify up, I got my Spirit Walk, got my little Gruesome Feast. So the damage is pretty good with GrinReaper, as long as you go with the 23 Fetish option with the Zunimasa. So now he's going to start jumping like an emo man, and now I'm just going to leave the room because he's too much to deal with right now. And I'm just going to rain the toes in the room and hopefully it kills him. I don't know what my fetishes are doing. I can't. Hopefully, I don't like this guy. At higher rips, he's quite emo. So we're seconds off of getting skipped to 32. That's okay. So we're going to be at 31. But as you can see, the build performed flawlessly, and we had enough time to spare. We almost able to skip 2 levels. We're going to do 31. So as always, this is the first part of the video where I go over the build, the items, the builds, and well, the build, the items, skills, blah 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 blah, so you can see what's going on. And then in the second video, I will be making a part 2, so that you guys can see what's going on at the Greater Rift level 31. So for the first part of the GrinReaper video series, this is the end of it. If you pretty much understand what's going on, then you don't have to, Stoner Jordan, then you don't have to worry about it. But like I said, I'll see you guys in video 2. Hey guys, Debo here. Welcome to the second part of the GrinReaper video. If you remember where we last left off on the first episode, we completed 30, no problem. We did the trial up to 30, and then we got this token 31. If you want to see how the GrinReaper is built, what skills I use and everything in my setup, you can just go ahead and check out the first video. But let's go ahead and get started with 31. 31 should be no problem. We're not going to be stressing too much until we get to about 34. We'll see if I can do 35 just for the lulls of it. See, I got Vortex right there, but I was immediately able to Horrify. And then after Horrify ends, then I'm going to just go ahead and drop Piranha's Apparentado for more CC. But this is what I'm talking about. If you actually just time your CC abilities, things start actually working out for you quite well. So get good at timing your CC, your crowd control, and you'll start noticing that the build actually can do some strong stuff and has some strong CC to keep things indefinitely out of combat. Ooh, man, I haven't been talking, haven't I? I'm just spaced out like I'm not even recording a video. I'm sorry about that, guys. It's pretty much not much to say. I mean, 31's pretty much a cakewalk of GrinReaper. It will start to get more... Ooh, Reflect monsters. Best thing to do with Reflect, don't attack. Then just basically go in and go crazy. Now I'm going to wait. And then I'm going to time my Horrify so when they go back into Reflect, Horrify. Then I go right back into battle. So like I said, just timing your Horrifies out and your Piranhas and Apparentados makes a big difference. There we go. And as you can see, when we have Gruesome Feast up, our damage gets up to 2.4 million, so the damage is pretty nice. Plus, if you were to run this in group and you had a Saz, the damage would be even more amazing. And then if you run this with the SMK, it would be straight stupid. Granted, you will lose your Zombie Charger, but the 20% increased damage on top of that would just be phenomenal. Alright. Pretty straightforward here. I'm going to come up and Horrify just to get CC, then he can't do nothing. And it's just going to sit there and take the damage. Fantastic. And we're just running through these monsters like a hot knife through butter. But that low-fat butter, we don't want to get too much unsaturated fat because that's unhealthy. So I'll Horrify right here to keep him CC'd. 3-second CC, not much, but it does add a lot. And then gotta remember that my fetishes can, my mimics can also cast Horrify, which is pretty nice. And now I'm gonna go ahead and cast Piranha's Apparentado, keep up the CC. And then, you know, I might come in and Horrify again. You know, plus it increases my armor, so there's nothing wrong with that either. Now, if you wanted to run instead of Gruesome Feast and run Grave Injustice for Fury for the CC, you could do that. Maybe in a situation where your damage is not that great and just be kind of more of a support / DPS build for your group, you can do that as well. But I really do like Gruesome Feast because the damage is just really, in terms of everything, just disgusting. Not only does it give you more toughness, do more damage, it's just, it scales off your int. It's just overall a really good spell. So right there, I got Vortex in, did a little bit of Horrify. I'm going to go down to the bottom, cast my Piranha's Apparentado. I think that was a bad cast. Going to Spirit Walk, looking for my Horrify, and I Horrified. So that was pretty nice. They got CC'd for a little bit, and that's the kind of stuff you just want to do. You know, you want to make sure these mobs don't get out of hand. When the mobs do get out of hand, they will pretty much take you back to school, or take you to school and stuff like that. But like I said, it's just really nice to have a build where you don't need an SMK and you can do well. All you need is just your Zuni pieces. Ring of Royal Grandeur is easy to get, and GrinReaper is definitely easy as hell to get. And anybody can run this build, really. It's not that difficult, as you can see. It's pretty much just a lot of auto-attacking and just, you know, doing a light amount of CC here and there to make your fetishes get as much damage in as they can, and then with the good attack speed and everything like that, you can keep your fetishes up indefinitely and keep replenishing their ranks when they die, and then with enough toughness and one from the skills just kind of anchor on and they don't die. Alright, so we're looking pretty good here. Build's pretty straightforward, everything's rolling through really nice. There we go. Couple monsters here and there, a little emo. So I'm just gonna watch my Horrify. I horrified that elite boss right there. My mimics just cast the Piranhas of Peronato. Now I'm gonna recast the Piranhas of Peronato, and then hopefully my mimics will out-cast their own Piranha, which they just did. And that's how you kind of keep that CC on that target where the elite really just can't do it at once. So like I said, pretty happy once I got this build figured out and how I wanted to run it. It seems to be performing quite well and better than when it first initially did. Before I was really struggling with what I wanted to do, but once I really start using the fetishes and the Zunimasa with it and getting the CC with the Horrify, I just realized I was like, okay, this is actually starting to become pretty solid, so I was pretty happy about that. And like I said, most trash mob can't do not much because they're going to get CC'd anyway. Horrify the big guy here because I don't like what he's doing. He's slamming everything around. There we go. Like again, like I said, this mob density is actually pretty nice, and then also the act monsters are fairly easy. So hopefully I can get a semi-difficult rift or a difficult rift so I can show you guys like, hey, look, it does well under pressure too. Just when you're dealing with Act 5 mobs and really messed up monsters and Morlus and stuff, you really gotta save your CC to really deal with them. Like Morlus, I'll run up and horrify them and then tie my Piranhas of Peronato, and usually we can knock them out before they start chain casting Meteor and start killing your fetishes. As you see, we're making that meter go up pretty well, so we should probably end up skipping to 33. If we do really well, maybe 34, but we would have to have a really nice mob density room for that to happen. And I cast my Piranhas with Peronato there. You really don't want to do that for the most part on trash modes. You just want to save it for elites, but I'll come up here and horrify him. See if I can get my fetishes to spawn on lower ground. He is mortar, so I want to stay close. Piranhas of Peronato just to get like a little CC going. And then I'm going to come in and then I'm going to horrify so he can't do anything, and I'm still trying to stay close so he can't hit me with his mortar shots, or he has less chance to hit me with it. I can kind of walk on the poison because I got pretty good toughness. Higher levels I probably wouldn't want to do this, but I mean it's just, it worked out pretty well. There we go. And then on to the next level. Really good mob density, so we actually have a chance of maybe skipping up to 34, I hope, because then that would make the video shorter. But then again, if I beat 34, then I definitely would want to show you guys 35. When we beat 35, I think we'll just be pretty overall happy for not using an SMK with this build and cheesing it out and just kind of using the typical gears that a lot of witch doctors have. Because like I said, I always try to make guys that can be used by everybody and try a bunch of different builds and stuff like that and show that it can get to, hey, you can get to this level and do well. You don't have to always have like the cookie cutter stuff. You don't always have to get an SMK. You don't always have to be upset because like you're waiting on one specific item and it's like a low drop chance, but you know. Oh, Blighter's just angry, isn't he? You saw how he just punched me in my face? He just punched me in my face. That's really not cool. He's angry. Look at that damage though. Oh, Fetish is doing work, right on. I'd be mad too if I was a Rift Guardian. I had 23 little fetishes stabbing me to death, I guess. This is the part when the Mr. Molester guy is going to just basically stick all his hands in the ground, and I just sit back here and just chill and like, ha 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 ha. Screw your little hands. I can't, oh, wait a minute, I was talking too much, man. That was not good. Okay, so 5 minutes and 59 seconds left. That went pretty well. 6 minutes would have been cool, but at 31 with GrinReaper, that's pretty awesome. Pick up all these items. And let me see, 33, which is okay. If you guys are wondering what property that Sizer got last video, it's cold. Has critical damage, it's nice, but the cold damage is kind of low, but I mean, I got a better one, but it's nice though, I guess. But unfortunately, we're gonna have to send it to the graveyard. Don't judge me. Alright, let me see here. No, don't need that. And don't need that. But anyways, 31 cleared really easily. In the next video, we're gonna do 33, then 34, and then I'm trying to think here. The first video was 30, and this one was 31. Then we got 33 in the third video. Hopefully I can skip up to 35. That'd be some baller ass shit. I can't guarantee that, but I will show up at least 34, and then I'll But I'm pretty sure somebody would like to see it at 35. But in all honesty, I really don't think there's too much of a difference between 33 and 35. Maybe it was like 33 and 36, maybe, but we'll see. But anyways, I'll check you guys out.